Welcome back to GOO ROO Beauty. I am Jody and I'm doing what I love to do best, product reviews. Today it is another new foundation out here on the market. This is from Estee Lauder and it is their Perfectionist Youth Infusing Makeup. I am 38 years old this year in November, and Youth Infusing certainly sounds very attractive to me. I do have fine lines. I also have pores, things that need smoothing out on this face of mine. I also have several other skin concerns, including hyperpigmentation that I always want to cover when I'm looking for a foundation. I do still get oil breakthrough, even though I'm 38. I'm not dealing with dry, flaky skin at this point. I am dehydrated, but oily combination skin. So when I am looking for a foundation, I want something that is going to smooth out the texture of my face, but also give me enough coverage to cover the hyperpigmentation, so be buildable enough to not get cakey. I also want something that's going to last throughout the day. I'm a mum with a full-time job, so I get started at 7 a.m. probably with my makeup every morning, and that's got to last right through sometimes till 8 or 9 o'clock. So I do have very high demands that I place on foundations, and my expectations of this one are very, very high. So the Perfectionist foundation is from a brand, Estee Lauder, that I hold in very, very high regard, at least as far as foundations go. Estee Lauder's Double Wear foundation is one of my holy grail foundations. It's a high coverage, fairly matte foundation that is very smoothing and will last throughout the entire day. I also love their Maximum Cover Camouflage foundation. That's great as a concealer, but also all over if you really want maximum coverage. And then they also have a Double Wear Light foundation, which I love. I think I've applied that in a glowy skin tutorial. I'll include a link to that one down below if I can find it. But I love Estee Lauder foundations typically. What appealed to me about this is that it does have an SPF 25 rating, which alone is fantastic. Youth Infusing, obviously, which is going to be appealing to me. This is something that I thought would be a little bit different to Double Wear in that it's not quite as matte. This is still oil-free. What Estee Lauder says the benefits are of this foundation is that it firms, it brightens, it hydrates, and it gives medium to full coverage. So I'll put all of those things to the test. What Estee Lauder says about this foundation is that you can infuse youth with this breakthrough makeup from the Serum Experts, infused with age-defying perfectionist serum technology. They say that it instantly brightens and perfects. It reignites the look of radiance, it reduces the look of lines, it nourishes with oil-free hydration, which is perfect for me. I want oil-free and yet I do want hydration for my aging skin. It says that women love it instantly. 93% said their skin looked transformed. 87% saw a more youthful, radiant look, and it gets better. They say in just 4 weeks, 80% saw a reduction in lines and felt that their skin was more hydrated. Long-wearing shades for all women, all skin tones now reignite your youth. Dermatologically tested, ophthalmologist tested, non-acnegenic, won't clog pores, or non-comedogenic I guess you'd say. Also fragrance free. Quite a heavy glass bottle here, and you are getting the standard 1 fluid ounce or 30 mils of product. Unlike my favorite Double Wear foundation, this does actually come with a pump, so that probably justifies the extra, what, $20 that you're paying for this foundation in Australia. I do like that it comes with a pump, not as travel friendly I guess as you may hope for. The pump does not lock. You do want to keep a hold of your lid obviously, but I will say it is a very firm fitting lid. I can hold it by the lid and the glass is not going to drop away. So nice packaging there, a good color match for me, and looking forward to seeing how Youth Infusing this is. It's available in quite a few different shades, both warm and cool. I would suggest that you do go to the counter and see how you're matched against it. I am typically an NC25 in MAC foundations, and I did not go to the counter and get matched, but I just thought I'd go by what I'm matched to in the Double Wear. So I have selected the 2N1 Desert Beige shade. Along with the Perfectionist Youth Infusing foundation, Estee Lauder has actually launched a new foundation brush with it, and it has attracted some very interesting comments, not all good, on Instagram when I posted a picture of this the other day. It's retailing in Australia for $70, and it obviously is a unique shape. It's got some kind of thickness to it, and I want to show you and give you a demonstration of how I'm going to apply this foundation with this brush. Obviously this is how Estee Lauder recommends it, but from my experience it'll work with with fingers or a sponge or any other kind of brush. I'm going to cut now to show you the foundation going on using the Sculpting foundation brush if you are curious about that. I'll show you what it looks like also after having a chance to just sit on my skin for a while I apply the rest of my makeup, and then I'll also be back at the end of the day to let you know how this thing has held up. I'll share with you my final thoughts and who I would recommend this foundation for, whether I recommend it at all after all of that. So if you want to see all of that, it's a good thorough review here on GOO ROO Beauty today. Stay tuned. Okay, I have applied all of my skincare to my face and I'm going to use a primer today from Dr. Brandt. And this is the Pores No More Pore Refiner Primer. This is obviously one that is going to minimize pores. It's very similar to like the Benefit Porefessional, also the Inoxa Pore Vanishing Cream, I think is what it's called. So I'm just applying a pea-sized amount of this silicone-y feeling primer all over my face, and that's going to help to eliminate any pores, unevenness of texture, fine lines, anything like that, so that we have a really smooth base. And now onto the foundation. I'm going to shake the bottle first of all, shake, shake. I am going to start with 2 pumps, so very modest amounts of foundation per pump, you can see. I'm just going to dab this brush in the foundation and I'm going to go along the cheeks. I'm going to go down the nose, pick up a little bit more foundation, go across the forehead, and the contour actually fits very, very nicely to my face. And the brush really doesn't cake on the foundation. It's a very nice application where you're not placing too much. It doesn't matter sort of how much you have on your brush. It's very dense. It's sort of thicker than what it looks like in the side shot. And it really does cover, you know, a decent amount of face in one sweep. I don't think you'll find this takes any longer to apply your foundation than like a, you know, Sigma F80. You can see it just sort of fits the contour of your face as you sweep along. You know, you've got nice even coverage along the contours. It doesn't feel unusual to use. It feels like it's sort of very suitable. Foundation blends in very easily with this brush, with any other brush too. And at this point you can see after one layer that my skin tone is definitely evened out. You can see that this is not a matte foundation. It's not an overly dewy or oily foundation. I just look like I have a healthy hydrated sheen to my face right now. I am going to build this up as I always do, just another couple of pumps on my hand, just to see how else I can use this brush to build up the foundation in areas, and also just to see how this foundation does go as we build it up. How buildable is it? So here are my spots of pigmentation on my cheeks. Because it is, you know, considerably dense, it has quite a few bristles there, the size of the brush, I can still use this in a stippling type motion and get coverage with it. So you can see that it is buildable. This brush is great for getting also into like the contours of the nose. And now I'm just going to finish everything off in a downward motion. Okay, so we'll leave it there right now with that foundation application. It definitely is smoothing. I think the 2N1 Desert Beige is a good match for my NC 25 to 30 skin. Everything does look fairly smoothed out, so it's certainly not making my pores look worse. You definitely expect that with an anti-aging foundation. So far it's not caking in any fine lines. I always look around this area and then around my nose just to see how foundations crease or cake or don't at all. So yeah, definitely very impressed with this. The finish is lovely, hydrated looking youthful skin. I will be back just to let you know how it's looking just in a little bit. Okay, I have applied the rest of my makeup now, and I have applied cream, bronzer, highlight, blush today. No powder except for a tiny touch of the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder. Now this is not a powder that you would use for oil control, but I did use it just on my T-zone just to take away a very slight shine. So I don't think that this is going to make much of a difference to how well this foundation wears. I did just want to take away a tiny bit of shine in the T-zone. We'll see how this foundation develops throughout the day with that powder over the top. Obviously I am using a primer underneath as well, but at this stage I'm very pleased with the way the foundation looks. I've got a really beautiful coverage. I feel like everything is definitely smoothed out yet hydrated and youthful feeling. So in terms of it being an anti-aging youth infused foundation, I would say at application I am definitely impressed with the way it's dealing with my 38-year-old face. So Stay tuned. I will be back to let you know if this foundation does last throughout the day and if things are looking good or if they are looking a little bit worse for wear. And I'm back. It's nighttime, 9 hours after applying the foundation, and I really could not be happier. I'll keep this very, very brief. Basically, the foundation is still there. I have not touched up at all throughout the day, just that tiny bit of powder on application, and everything looks fantastic. So I've still got the coverage that I need. That coverage that I built up when I first applied it is still there. Everything looks smooth, everything looks radiant, everything still looks hydrated without looking oily. My pores, fine lines, everything's still definitely smoothed out. I haven't had anything caking in my wrinkles, where I frown, around my nose, anywhere like that. Everything is just pretty much as I applied it 9 hours ago without touch up. I could not be happier. Definitely the Perfectionist gets 2 thumbs up at the end of the day test today. So there you have it, my final thoughts on the foundation. Is it youth infusing? I don't know what happens after 4 weeks. I haven't been using this foundation for 4 weeks, and because of the nature of what I do, reviewing different products for you on YouTube, I don't think I'll ever find out if exclusively using the Perfectionist foundation is going to give you skincare benefits. Please do let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to hear from you, but I am very impressed with this foundation. Overall, I would agree it is a medium coverage. It is definitely buildable, but a medium coverage, very beautiful, smoothing, youth infusing. Yes, I would say it is. Does it brighten and perfect? Yeah, I think I look pretty brighten, and maybe never going to look perfect, but definitely I really like the finish of this foundation. I like that it's not too matte and it's not too dewy or oily. It definitely does help to make me look a little bit more radiant, a little bit more hydrated. It does reduce the look of lines and pores, and I find that it does nourish with oil-free hydration. I am very impressed with this foundation, also how it lasts throughout the day. It really doesn't have any kind of strong fragrance. If you don't like products with fragrance, I think that this one would be suited for you. Many skin types would probably enjoy this foundation. It is oil-free, but then it does also kind of hydrate. Let me know if you have dry skin, if you've tried this foundation. I'd be interested to hear if you actually like this foundation or not. From my experience with my oily combination skin, I actually think that this is suited for normal combination skins, but I can't see why, from my experience at least, why people with dry skin would not like this foundation, because it does still have a bit of a glow to it. So very similar for me to like the NARS Sheer Glow. If you like that kind of foundation, I think you're going to enjoy the Estee Lauder Perfectionist foundation. It's going to suit most skin types from my experience. And look, if the cost is a bit of a thing for you, and I'll include all of the information down below, what this retails for in the US, what it retails for in Australia, so you don't have to wonder, it will be included down below. I would say if you're interested in a cheaper version, I would say this is quite sort of similar to the drugstore Revlon Nearly Naked foundation. I have reviewed this one and will include a link to that foundation review down below, so you can check that out if you're after a more affordable option. Similar type product, but I definitely give the Perfectionist Youth Infusing Makeup from Estee Lauder 2 guru thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. Don't forget, you are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Make it a beautiful day. We'll see you again really soon. Bye.